Hi, welcome to Montana Shares. Today we're here with Maggie and Shawn from Queen City Ballet Company. We've got an event coming up and we're just going to talk about Queen City Ballet Company a little bit. So welcome Shawn, welcome Maggie.
Thank you.
So let's just start this off real quick. What's the elevator speech on your upcoming event?
Dancing with Helena Stars. It's modeled after the popular TV show Dancing with the Stars, and we get prominent community members to come and dance with our ballet dancers, and we put on an event. It's dinner and dancing. Mike Prendergast sings. He's a crooner, so everyone gets to dance as well. There's a silent auction, dinner, and a no-host bar. It's a great evening for everyone involved.
Time and date for it?
September 12th at 6 p.m. is when the show is. It's at the Gateway Center, and you can get tickets at queencityballet.com.
Okay, we'll come back to that. I just want to get that one out early.
Great.
So let's start with the real basic question. What does Queen City Ballet Company do?
Queen City Ballet Company is, for the most part, a production company. We put on classical ballets in 2 times of the year. In the spring, that show rotates year to year, and then every Christmas we put on the Nutcracker, which is a community favorite. So the production company is the nonprofit arm of Queen City Ballet, which is the conservatory that teaches students, from ages 3 on up, various forms of dance, but as the girls get older, there's a real focus on classical ballet.
So you're one of the dancers.
I am.
And how long, tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved in dancing.
I have been dancing with Campbell at Queen City Ballet since I was about 3 years old, so it's been somewhere around 13-ish years, or going on at least. And it's been a blessing being there with Campbell every day and doing what I love.
Good, which is obviously dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get in depth with Dancing with the Stars and go ahead and let's start with you actually. It's your job to make someone in this community look good. Isn't that part of it?
Yeah, it is, yes.
Tell us about the process.
So it starts actually this Thursday on the 13th with like a little dance thing for the men so that you can see what women they would dance with and see what type of dance they will do. And then starting the next day, there can be rehearsals, and it's about 10 hours of rehearsal altogether for the men, or more if they would like. And so you just dance with them, and they get taught whatever they need to be taught, and it's a good experience for both sides. Like, I learn things from my partner, and the partner learns the dances and all that.
Great. And so how long have you been doing Dancing with Helena Stars?
This will be my 4th year doing Dancing with Helena Stars.
Okay. And we can't do any name dropping because really you haven't been paired up with your dance partner yet. Who else have you danced with in the past?
In the past, I have danced with Kelly Klein, who is a astronomy teacher at Carroll, Nick Duda, who owns the Sweetgrass Bakery, and then I was in a small group piece my first year because I wasn't quite old enough yet.
Okay, super. Well, let's go ahead and hit those stats again and the goals and give everyone a really good in-depth look at this particular event.
Well, this is our primary fundraiser every year. We do this to allow the production company to put on these shows. It's an interesting approach because we try to have an event that's an evening for everyone that they will enjoy while being a fundraiser at the same time. The money that we raise allows us to hire professional dancers. We've brought in male dancers from Pacific Northwest Ballet, Nevada Ballet, Ballet West. These professional dancers come in and they work with everyone involved in the show. So the community members, the adults, but for the most part they work with their partners, which would be the older principal dancers with the company. They learn lifts and choreography, partnering that they would never have an opportunity to experience without us bringing in someone that's professional. The community also benefits from that because they get to see a live professional quality classical ballet where men are doing not only amazing solo performances, but also working with these dancers doing very complex choreography and lifts that some people would never get to see otherwise. So we feel like it's a real win-win. So the money we raise helps operational expenses. It pays for sets and costumes, bringing in the professional dancers, all of the elements of producing a show of that caliber is what these funds support.
Okay, so I buy a ticket. I go to queencityballet.com, is that right?
That's right.
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock,
September 12th. I show up at the door. What am I going to expect during this event?
Right, you show up at the door, there's an army of people greeting you, letting you know where your table is, what you can do. There are two types of tickets you can buy. An individual ticket is $50, or you can buy a VIP table, and those tables are $500. They seat 8. Those tables are positioned directly around the dance floor, so they have the best view and the most interaction with the dancers. So you can either buy an individual ticket or one of the VIP tables. So you'll be greeted at the door. There's a no-host bar. You can go get a drink, meander through the silent auction items. Inevitably, someone falls in love with every one of the items that we have. It's a diverse option of things you can bid on. But really, the auction part of the event is relatively small. It's one of the only fundraisers in town where there is no live auction. The focus of this event is really letting Queen City Ballet and our stars put on a show for the people in the audience.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said there's a crooner and that you can be dancing yourself.
Right. So there's the dinner, the show goes on. We usually have 10 or 12 couples that compete, just like Dancing with the Stars on TV. And then Mike Pendergrast sings for everyone, and families, couples, young and old, dance to various styles of music that Mike throws out for everyone. And then the awards are announced, and there's the top 3 prizes, and people win based on donations that were put into their box. So you vote with a cash donation. So whichever couple raises the most money is who wins.
Okay, do you have first, second, third place, or just have the winner?
No, first, second, and third.
Okay.
Yeah, but the big winner is, of course, the one that's most exciting.
Okay, so Maggie, have you ever been in the top 3 yet?
I have not been in the top
This is
3
the
yet.
year?
I don't know. We'll see. I hope that'll be fun.
Okay, so basically you've got dinner, you can have drinks at a no-host bar, you've got performance dancing, and you've got dancing that you can participate in. Is that kind of sum it all up?
Yeah, it's a dinner dancing and a show.
Okay.
So everything you could want in an evening out in Helena.
Okay, and just to hammer it home, September 12th, 6 o'clock. It's at the Gateway Center.
Yep.
You can get tickets at queencityballet.com.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
I think we've covered that.
I think we got it.
Okay, so let's go back to Queen City Ballet Company. This 2 major performances a year.
Right.
You're probably already thinking about the winter one.
Right, the Nutcracker is coming up. Auditions will be soon in September. All the dancers are eagerly awaiting to find out what role they have in the show. It really is a fun event. Families, community members participate. There's a number of adults in the show every year, and it's a great way to kick off the holiday season. Our show this year is November 21st and 22nd, so it's one of the first holiday events in town. Many families have gone to it year after year as kind of a family tradition, and they've seen their kids grow up watching the Nutcracker as they've watched the dancers grow up on stage. Most of the company dancers that are in the principal roles have been dancing with Queen City Ballet for 10 years or more, and so they've done just about every role in the show. So it's fun to see that evolution and the little sheep becoming the Snow Queen over time.
I would have to say it had to be one of the mice. They're my favorite part for the
mice
little
are the
ones.
best, yeah.
And so you're a dancer, and I'm just going to throw a totally off-the-wall question to you. One of my favorite movies is Billy Elliot. And the thing that I like best about that movie is through the majority of the movie, he's not like a great dancer. He just wants to dance. And so what's that relationship of you don't have to be perfect to start, that you can just have the desire and then someone else can make you great?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I actually love Billy Elliot as well. It's one of my favorite movies. And you go to class every day, and class might not be perfect, but you're there for you to dance because that's what you love doing, rather than just being there just for the heck of it. I mean, it's quite a lot of money to do something that you love, and if you didn't really want to do it, I don't think there's as much of a point, pun not intended there, but there's not as much of a point to be there unless you really love what you're doing and that's what you want to do, just like Billy in the movie. And to have Campbell there pushing you every single day to strive for greatness and to strive for everything she knows you can be, which is very helpful from her.
Great. That's, like I say, the majority of the movie, I would sort of describe him as a bit of a klutz until like the final last few seconds of the movie where you see that greatness come out finally.
Right, but even while he's there and he seems like a klutz, you fall in love with him.
Oh, without a doubt.
Just because you see that passion and that he loves what he's doing. Anytime you get to watch someone do something they love and you can tell that they're completely absorbed into that activity, it makes it enjoyable for anybody watching. I think it's been fun for me to be involved for so many years and watch not only Maggie but all of her friends and dance counterparts at Queen City grow into the best that they can be and just love dancing. Those kids that you see up there, they love it. They love being there every day and training and growing and excelling at everything they can do, and you can feel it. It's palpable on the stage. You can see that they love it.
Great. So if you just learned how to dance, it wouldn't be as good. So this part of the Queen City Ballet Company that actually helps fund these productions are major events. Do you have any, can you give us a feel of what it takes to put on just one of the two productions each year?
The Nutcracker is probably the easiest one to quantify because we do it every year. Like I said, auditions are starting in September and the show's at the end of November. Everyone involved in the show puts in a number of hours. There's hundreds of hours of training between the community members, the dancers, the professionals that come in, the costuming, you know, the civic center, it's putting everything together. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of work. The Queen City Ballet Company Board of Directors works for 6 months to put on each one of the shows, and the minute one show wraps, we immediately start working on the next show. So these events are, you know, these aren't recitals. These are actually professional level classical ballets with, you know, professional male dancers that come in to make sure the choreography is exquisite and something that you would see usually in a larger venue.
And so you get basically have your sponsor type funding, but your relationship to Montana Shares is also important. Is that correct? It
is. Montana Shares is one of our most stable and principal funding mechanisms, and we really appreciate the community support. You know, and I hope everyone contributes to Montana Shares and know that they're giving something back to the community. We actually feel that putting on these shows and providing the arts to the community is something that's critical, not only to the little girl who comes and sees the Nutcracker for the first time and falls in love with dance or the story, but the adult dancers that volunteer in the show, and they learn things and they get time to spend time with the other dancers. We really feel like it's a gift to the community to put on this type of an event.
Right. You know, the arts, there's no reason to live if you don't have something to live for, is kind of a phrase running around out there. And so it's important that we feed and house people in our community, but I think it's also really important to give them the arts in all fashions so that they have a reason to be alive. And
right.
That's one of the things you do is show the world passion and art.
Well, and if you look at the biggest little art town in the West,
right,
which we are, I think people that live here get exposed to a wide array of the arts. This is just one of them, but it's exciting to see young people coming up through the arts community that we have here and going off into the world and doing great things. You know, we've got people on Broadway right now. We've got people dancing with professional dance companies. We've got potters and artists and performers doing great things all over the world. And this is just one of the venues that our community serves up to allow these kids to grow into that.
Okay, wonderful. So looking forward to next year, do you know what your spring performance is going to be yet? Is there any hints? Is it public?
It's not public yet.
It's not public, okay.
But it is classical ballet, and we're excited about it. After Nutcracker, we'll let everyone know what's coming.
Okay, you guys are good at keeping secrets. I like that. Keep us interested in the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
What else can you tell us, you know, in the last 5 minutes here? Anything else that you should be mentioning or want to talk about?
Well, one thing I did want to mention is how the donations and the sponsorships and all the community activities really help launch these dancers into the world. And we've had Queen City Ballet dancers have trained at the Kirov, at the Bolshoi, Joffrey, at Juilliard. These are the best dance companies in the world. And our dancers from Little Helena, Montana are on par with some of the best dancers that are being produced anywhere in the world. So support and donations is critical to allowing people in smaller communities like ours to make a big impact in the art world. So I hope people feel inspired to come, not only to support all these dancers and send them off into the world, but also just to have a great evening. Dinner and a show, dancing, it's just so much fun. It's a great event.
Right. I mean, we're coming up on the campaign season where workplace giving is really going to be kicking off. We have the State Employees Charitable Giving Campaign coming up, which is this phenomenal outpouring of generosity by the state employees. I have to say is probably one of the most, single workplaces. Obviously, it's one of the biggest ones in town and in the state. But these state employees are generous people. I know you've got Anne is on your board, is that correct?
Right, yep.
And she's also a state worker. She represents that huge body of generous people.
She does, yeah. The State Charitable Giving Campaign is a force, of course, in Montana. Right. And the donations that people make, either the general donations, because people can just donate and have it go across all of the nonprofits, or they can specify an organization and have their dollars go to those. And I hope people would consider Queen City Ballet. It's a small organization, but it's making a really big impact on the dance world.
Okay. Meg, anything else that you'd like to add to the whole process?
Along with this, the Montana Shares supports something called Montana Dance Arts Association, and this allows dancers such as myself to receive scholarships to leave Montana for, say, the summer or like around the year, I guess, sometimes. But it really helps to allow people like me to do what I love and to leave and go places like New York and dance at Juilliard. And that is all I'd like to say.
Great. Well,
right. Scholarships are one thing that I did forget to mention. Part of our funding, we do provide scholarships to dancers to make sure that they can participate in shows, and community members make sure they can participate in shows and donate to the Montana MDAA, the Montana Dance and Arts Association. So we give scholarships to the Montana Dance and Arts Association that allows students from all over the state to come train with Queen City Ballet. It is one of the top ballet companies in the state, and I would say the top company sending dancers out nationwide into these big, important programs.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show today and telling us what you do. And thank you everyone that's tuning in and taking the time to learn a little bit more about what we have for nonprofits and how they make our community great. And thank you very much for your time.